doing things a little bit differently. And him working with Jack Della Maddalena, you know, he's escaping different from the traditional way that everybody else is.
And fighting in Australia was a very hard spot, I think, for Islam. So for me, with this one, I think I'm going to pick Islam in this fight to win it. And if it goes to the ground, I think it'll be
incredible. So I definitely can get a finish. All right, favorite team? Islam's great. Him moving up, I still think he's a nightmare for a lot of the people in the division, but I think JDM.
UFC fans are buzzing as top analysts drop daring predictions for the showdown between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena. Everyone wants to know who truly has the edge, the relentless Dagestani grappler or the laser-focused Aussie striker. Let's break down what the experts are saying ahead of this huge fight, starting with Balal Muhammad, one of the few fighters who's both trained with Islam and shared the cage with Jack. Balal dissected this matchup with a fighter's precision. He believes that if Islam manages to drag this fight to the mat, it could turn into a nightmare for Jack. Balal praised Islam's suffocating top game, saying his grappling is world-class, and his control once he gains position is nearly impossible to escape. He also pointed out that Jack sometimes leaves small defensive gaps on the ground, openings that Islam won't hesitate to exploit.
Islam versus Jack, for me, breaking down this fight stylistically, obviously trained with Islam, fought Jack. It's going to come down to if it hits the ground. If it hits the ground for Islam, I think his top game is going to be really good. He's very smart, very controlled, doesn't let you off the hook when you make a mistake. Jack makes mistakes on the ground. He uses it to scramble. He has good scrambling ability. He has moments where he's like lapses safety, right? He'll give up his back, he'll give up his neck, he'll give up an arm triangle. And you can't do that with Islam. Islam's going to see that and he's going to exploit it. I think if Islam comes out wrestling right away and forcing that takedown right away, making that work, it's going to be a long night for Jack.
Interview 4, Balal went on to explain that Islam's constant pressure could make this a much harder night for JDM than many fans expect. Reflecting on his own fight with Jack, Balal said JDM's striking is crisp, fast, and incredibly technical, not easy for anyone to deal with. However, he emphasized that against someone like Islam, the battle for positioning will decide everything. Balal warned that Jack can't afford to be backed against the fence, because that's where Islam's takedowns and control are most effective. Once pinned there, the ground fight usually follows, and things can go downhill fast. Balal compared Jack Della Maddalena's style to Alexander Volkanovski's, saying Volkanovski is shorter and more explosive, while Jack uses longer, more methodical combinations. That slower rhythm, Balal believes, might actually help Islam find his timing and shoot for takedowns. He summed it up clearly. If Jack keeps the fight tight and striking based, he's got a chance. But once it hits the ground, Islam takes over.
Jack is longer, so he's going to have a longer torso for Islam to control, a longer torso for him to get on top of. Volkanovski made those spots harder because he's very short, he's very hard to read. Even with the striking, he's like a little bit more faster with his combinations. Jack does longer combinations, but I think Volkanovski is more explosive. And like I said, it's always harder to fight shorter guys. And fighting in Australia was a very hard spot, I think, for Islam. So for me, with this one, I think I'm going to pick Islam in this fight to win it. And if it goes to the ground, I think it'll be
Morab Dvalishvili also gave his thoughts, saying this won't be an easy fight for Islam, but he's confident the Dagestani team will deliver once again. Morab called it a hard test, but one Islam can pass, citing his unmatched wrestling, timing, and fight IQ as weapons that make him one of the most difficult opponents in the UFC.
Mention Islam, he's moving up to 170. Do you think that he gets the job done and wins that title, or do you think JDM retains?
It's gonna be hard for him, but it's possible to Islam Makhachev wins the second belt. JDM is great fighter, great striker, but Islam is tricky. He has a good wrestling, and he's southpaw. He don't get hits, but he takes people down and he mauls people down.
Morab added that Islam will definitely study Jack's fight with Balal Muhammad and make the necessary adjustments. But he also warned that Jack's striking power and calmness under pressure make him a genuine threat. His quick reactions and smooth movement could create dangerous moments for Islam. It's that unpredictable mix, Morab said, that makes this fight so exciting, because nobody can say for sure how it will play out.
So And also we all see the JDM Balal Muhammad's fight, and then I'm sure Islam will take lots of lessons from this fight, and maybe Islam will make some adjustment. It's possible, it's gonna be hard, but Islam can win the second.
Meanwhile, Ilia Topuria didn't hold back with one of his wildest takes yet. He boldly claimed that Islam Makhachev wouldn't even make it past Jack Della Maddalena, and joked that Islam might end up back in Dagestan herding sheep. When asked if he'd fight Islam next if Makhachev beats JDM, Topuria laughed and said Jack would humble Islam so badly he'd be running home afterward.
ისლამის დამარცხების შემთხვევაში დამარცხებულ ისლამთან გირჩევნია თქვა შემდეგი ბრძოლა თუ პირობითად გამარჯვებულ ცარუკინთან.
მოკლედ ვერ გავიხსენე სიტყვა, მაგრამ ისლამი თუ დამარცხდა დაბრუნდეს დაღესტანში, თავის ფერმაში. თუ მოიგო კიდე წესო ხო. ხო, ზღვარი მომწესოს.
Johnson also gave a detailed breakdown of the matchup, praising Jack Della Maddalena's steady rise and sharp technique. After seeing Jack's performance against Balal Muhammad, Johnson said it's clear he's evolved into a serious contender, a real dark horse in the division. He noted that Jack's clean, technical striking turned what was expected to be a cautious matchup into a highlight-worthy showcase, with elite names like Craig Jones and Alexander Volkanovski helping him train for Islam's grappling. Johnson said this fight is far from one-sided. In his words, it could go two ways. A slow, methodical chess match, or an explosive war that becomes an instant classic.
You know, to finish him and just out-jab him. A lot of people said that fight was going to be boring. It turned out to be a banger fight. For him to take on a guy like Islam Makhachev, not steering away from that challenge. You know, Islam is coming up, so he's going to be, I feel like comparably size-wise, they're going to be about even, you know. Islam's super good. JDM's got Craig Jones in the camp to, you know, battle. And Volkanovski to battle that, you know, Dagestan wrestling. It's going to be, it could be two things. It could be a very, very boring fight, or it could be a very, very exciting fight. Meaning by the way it could be boring is if Islam's able to take down JDM and get his back, hold him.
Johnson continued, saying that if Islam takes Jack down and starts imposing his signature grappling, things could get very interesting. He acknowledged that Islam has all the tools to dominate there, but warned that JDM's unpredictable movement and adaptive fighting style make him a handful even on the ground. Johnson pointed to Jack's past performances, like his fight against Gilbert Burns, where he stayed calm under pressure and showed elite composure. That cool, collected mindset, Johnson said, is exactly what makes Della Maddalena such a serious challenge for Islam.
I'll grapple him, stifle him. He could potentially do that, but the one thing I love about JDM when he fights is he never accepts the position. When he was fighting Gilbert Burns, great grappler, takes him down. Right when he gets up, he throws that knee into the void. Gilbert Burns ducks down into it. He runs into it. JDM doesn't accept the position when he gets taken down. He's always looking to grapple, always looking to anti-wrestle. That's what makes this fight exciting. And he's got some fucking good hands. He's not the way his boxing is, he's very tight. I'm excited for that fight just because we're seeing the best at 155 take on the best at 170. It's very rare when the moons align. Same thing at the co-main event.
MMA Guru also chimed in, calling this fight one of his all-time favorites. A longtime follower of Jack Della Maddalena's career, he encouraged fans to revisit Jack's early fights, calling some of his knockouts pure savagery. Guru believes history will repeat itself, confident that Jack's accuracy, patience, and killer instinct will bring him another highlight finish.
If you haven't seen it, go and watch back Jack Della Maddalena's regional KOs. Some of the nastiest KOs you'll see. He was destroying people on the regional scene. Started 0-2 in his career, went 10-2. After that, 10-fight win streak, and then since has been on a crazy win streak. I think he's on like a 17, 18-fight win streak now in his career, all the way through to UFC as well. I've picked him in every fight, and I'm going to pick him to beat Makhachev as well. Little spoiler for my own prediction video. But my take on this fight is, Amazing match.
Came Charles Oliveira, who stunned fans with his firm prediction. Islam Makhachev won't even try to trade punches with Jack Della Maddalena. Oliveira believes Islam will shoot for the takedown immediately and dominate the fight on the mat. His words sparked debate, but Oliveira spoke from experience, having personally faced Islam's pressure inside the octagon. He explained that Makhachev's control and relentlessness are on another level and said this fight will likely follow the same script: takedowns, top pressure, and control from start to finish.
O que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
Maddalena, ele é um jogo muito complicado, porque ele é um cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. É o que ele fez agora no luta contra o...
Oliveira still gave Jack credit for his powerful hands and slick boxing, but said once Islam closes the distance, the fight will shift instantly. Coming from someone who's felt that pressure firsthand, Oliveira's words carried weight. Fans can't help but wonder, can Jack really stop the tide once Islam grabs hold of him?
Só que eu acho que o Ilia vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é um jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né, agora contra o Balal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Ilia agarrar e botar pra baixo...
Benil Darish also offered his take on the matchup, admitting that while he initially leaned toward Islam, he's now slightly favoring JDM because of his size and elite cardio. Darish said it's an extremely close fight, but he believes JDM's pace, power, and endurance could give him a narrow advantage.
Spoke last time about Islam versus JDM. Now only weeks away. Do you still favor Islam in that matchup?
I'm gonna lean now towards JDM.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like the size will make a difference. Cardio-wise, JDM has great cardio. Maybe I'm wrong, but now I'm. This is all feel. This is one of the few fights where I can't really give you a clear answer. So I just feel like JD.
Darish went on to say that Jack's conditioning is one of the best in the division, and he shines when the fight turns chaotic. He acknowledged Makhachev's technical mastery and control, but added that something about JDM's intensity feels like it could cause an upset. That statement alone stirred plenty of debate among fighters and fans.
He's a big guy. I think he's going to fill into that weight. He's a really big 155er. So I think he's going to... His lifestyle outside of training camp is going to be a little more comfortable, and he'll fill into that weight class no problem. He's going to be he could be champion there for sure.
How do you think he does against JDM?
I think the beginning of the fight's going to tell the story, like how well JDM does at getting up, how well JDM does at keeping Islam off of his feet, off of his legs, off of the cage. It's tough to call that because JDM's a big guy, athletic. I'm excited about that. A lot of fun fights in the future.
Umar Nurmagomedov, however, disagreed. He confidently predicted Islam will dominate once again, saying his teammate is in peak form, faster, smarter, and more focused than ever. Umar emphasized that Islam's mental approach and ability to adapt make him the clear favorite to retain his belt.
Islam in amazing shape, and this guy, very smart fighter, and you know, I'm his fan, and he have, you know, he don't have some just one plan for fight, and he have plan A, B, C, and like all alphabet, you know, D, E, A, everything, you know, like if something not he couldn't do, he gonna try other one not good, he have next plan, you know, and he's amazing fighter, and he's amazing friend, brother, and I think he will take this belt. I think he deserves it.
Nikita Krylov added his perspective, saying the move to welterweight was tough for Islam at first, but the results now speak for themselves. He believes Makhachev has gained real power, speed, and explosiveness, transforming into an even more dangerous version of himself. Umar agreed, saying Islam isn't just prepared for this fight, he's engineered for it.
He looks very good now. Do you think he's like very built well for welterweight?
Yes, he become a bigger, you know, now we have more power, more than ever, and I think he's ready.
Luke Rockhold also weighed in, admitting that Jack Della Maddalena won't be able to match Islam's wrestling. But he still called Jack a legitimate threat because of his sharp striking and unshakable composure. Rockhold believes even though Islam has the edge on the ground, Jack's toughness could keep things interesting.
Do you see him beating JDM to win that welterweight title?
It's a tough fight. That's a very tough fight. It's going to be interesting. You know, I think those are my three favorite fighters in the UFC right now. We go Islam, Topuria, and JDM. JDM's he's fun to watch. So I mean, that's going to be a great fight. You know, he's no slouch at wrestling, but you have a guy that's wrestled his whole life and grappled his whole life versus JDM. He's kind of like, he's secondary on that, but you know, you never know. He's a bigger guy. So, you know, we'll see how Islam, how he bulks up and how he looks. He looks a lot bigger than what I remember. I used to train with him forever. So, I mean, he's definitely grown. You know, we'll see how he carries the weight.
And now, the stage is set for one of the most unpredictable fights in modern UFC history. The experts are split, the fighters are picking sides, and fans are arguing non-stop. Will Islam Makhachev's pressure and grappling dominance continue? Or will Jack Della Maddalena's precision striking shock the world? Either way, when that cage door closes, it's going to be unforgettable. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Cage for more exclusive previews, expert insights, and all the build-up before fight night. Drop your predictions in the comments. Makhachev or Maddalena? Who walks out the winner?